Let me take you on a journey to a few weeks ago. At this point in time, Cerulean is one of, if not the best Marbula 1 competitors to not have a win. It felt like no matter what they did, it wouldn't happen. One time it's a minor hiccup, the next it's a bad bounce, next it's a freaking red flag. It was like every time Cerulean took the lead, the rest of the field all got a blue marble shell. But how did this happen? How did Cerulean of all marbles establish themselves as a major powerhouse in Marbula 1? Let's go back to where it all started. Cerulean had a very quiet 2016. His one individual event was the high jump, which didn't go so well. They were one of two Kobalts competitors to return after the 2016 season alongside Azur. The 2017 qualifiers was unfortunately a sign of things to come. They were actually in the green by a single point after the second place showing in block pushing, but the team chose Cerulean for the final event, Funnel Endurance. Cerulean finished 12th, resulting in no trip to the Marble League. The 2018 season might be the closest the Kobalts have come to this day to making the Marble League, but Cerulean was largely silent as the Kobalts sent Azur for the Ice Dash and Meepo for the Snow Race. Azur's third place in the Ice Dash and the team finishing second in the halfpipe got them so close, but they missed out by 1 point. The 2019 qualifiers were a new low. The Kobalts are the scientific team, but they kept on falling for the definition of insanity. They kept on trotting out Azur for one individual event, and it mostly worked, but they kept on giving Meepo chances, expecting a different result. Cerulean, Royal, and Gnome are there for a reason. Anyways, it probably wouldn't have mattered this time. The Kobalts missed out by a long shot. The 2019 showdown was more or less a repeat of the qualifiers. Azur once again did their job with a 5th place showing in the sand rally, but Meepo once again struggled and the team failed to get out of the showdown. This brings us to the 2020 showdown, and this is where, finally, our main character finds their first opportunity. After good performances in the relay and the halfpipe, the Kobalts finally had enough. They gave Meepo the boot for the third event and instead sent Royal and Cerulean, and they dominated the Black Hole Funnels, winning by a landslide. This may or may not be major foreshadowing. Anyways, to make things even better, all reliable Azur closed it out by winning the Sand Moguls, winning the Kobalts the showdown. And this is where this story's main plot begins. The Kobalts, after winning the showdown, were invited to Marbula 1 Season 2. Azur was a given to be on the roster, but the Kobalts chose Cerulean to be their Marbula 1 teammate under the nickname Natural 27. This is it. This is Cerulean's big break. Naturally, Azur was expected to lead the team, both being a pretty well-established Marble League competitor and also coming off a win in a sand race, a notoriously good predictor for Marbula 1 performance. But that's not what went down. While Azur was struggling to get into races, Cerulean got staggeringly good results. Their first Grand Prix would be the Raceway. Cerulean qualified 7th and then did this to start off the race.
And we're rolling, and Billy has done it again, but gets shoved to the outside and fights back through the first sector. Great move to keep up in the lead. High on the curbs is Tumult, and I believe Cerulean back there trying to opt for that same strategy. First time they come down the sand, and Cerulean shoots between them all and takes the lead.
This unfortunately didn't last. Cerulean fell back to mid-pack, but a good recovery towards the end led to them finishing 6th. A very impressive debut. Cerulean didn't compete for the win at Aquamarine as Red Eye and Bolt dominated, but they would finish 3rd, netting their first career podium. Cerulean's Arctic Circle and Mo Motorway were average to be kind, but then, oh no! Misty Mountain, you did not! Cerulean had this race. This race, under almost any other circumstance, would have been theirs. And then, turn 6, the red flag, and JMR's first marble ship. No further questions. I am not the type of person to say that this red flag was unfair, because there's nothing else that could have been done. But it's really unfortunate that this had to happen, because Cerulean fell back after the red flag and finished 5th. A good result, just not what it could have been. To finish off the year, having established themselves as the Kobalts Marbula 1 ace, Cerulean got the finale Midnight Bay. They immediately won pole and battled for the lead all day during the race. But it wasn't enough for the win. Rapidly was just out of reach. Cerulean finished second. Still an incredible debut season, finishing 6th in the individual standings and leading the Kobalts to 8th in the team standings. The 2021 qualifiers were the toughest yet. Their first 3 events weren't great, but they were good enough to keep the team in contention. And Azur came within a photo finish of getting the team in. 1/100th of a second. But there are no almost in marble racing. Once again, the Kobalts missed out on the Marble League. But they did repeat in the showdown, so that's something. And then Marbula won Season 3. Cerulean was now viewed as the team's Marbula 1 ace, and the Kobalts sent Royal to be Saru's teammate. But then things went in a completely different direction. Cerulean wasn't bad at Misty Mountain, a 4th place finish this time, and very briefly leading at Mellow Meadows before finishing 5th. But no medals and 14th out of 40 in the individual standings were not what the Kobalts fans were expecting. And yet, they're on the overall podium. How? Well, Royal woke up and decided to establish himself as one of the best in the world. Royal won twice, with an absolute shellacking of the competition at Honey Dome, and flat out outdueling Red Eye in one of the best Marbula 1 finishes in the finale at Mirage Meowtain. Royal finished 3rd in the individual standings in the process. 3rd place overall, and being a very real title threat for much of the season, is a huge step forward for the team, and the Kobalts seemed ready to contend for years to come. The Kobalts for the first time had an obvious Marbula 1 decision on their hands, and they kept both Cerulean and Royal around for Season 4. Cerulean kicked off the season at the Razway and did just fine, and then Royal.
Ecto is also trying to hold on to 2nd place. How close is Red Eye? Very close. 1 length between them. On the charge down through the final turn, Royal will win. Speedy versus Royal. Will Misty have anything to say about it? They're opting for different lines, and now they go defensive through the S's. Speedy over Royal. Very slow and deliberate here. Both of these marbles know that there are passing opportunities coming up. Royal to the outside, back to the inside. Has the lead through the hairpin and may have timed it perfectly. Royal is going to make it 2 straight in Marbula 1.
3 straight Marbula 1 wins is something that we really might never see again. But this is getting a bit off the beaten path. Back to Cerulean, who had a really rough greenstone, and the Kobalts fell 3 spots, 1st to 4th. Saru's Sleet Street and Misty Mountain were better, but still just not enough to help the Kobalts compete for a championship. A devastating late-season collapse took the Kobalts from squarely in championship discussions to 7th when it was all said and done. Cerulean finished 24th in the individual standings. For the first time, fans were seriously questioning Cerulean's Marbula 1 talent. But the Kobalts saw something the fans didn't, and they gave Cerulean one final chance to prove that they still had it, keeping them around for Season 5. Royal's season debut and Season 5 in general was a complete and utter disaster. They simply never got off the ground, scoring points in one race, an 11th place finish at the Raceway. So what about Cerulean? They kicked off their season in front of their home crowd at the Electron Expressway. Cerulean qualified 2nd and finished 4th, their best finish in over a year. And then Mo Motorway. For the 2nd straight race, Cerulean qualifies on the front row. They take the lead on the first lap, just in time to run into Clementon. But Cerulean recovers and is back in the lead by lap 4. Yellow comes close but can't get by Ceru, but then Yellow Eye begins to move up the field and these two battle it out for the lead. After a few laps, Yellow Eye pulls away. Another chance for Cerulean has been lost.
Very similar lines. We've got a yellow flag. Hold on, we've got a red flag now. The race has been stopped.
Is the red flag going to be Cerulean's hero this time? Nered moves into the battle for the win with Yellow Eye and Cerulean, but then Yellow Eye fades. Heading into the drop turn on the penultimate lap, Nered navigates the exit better and claims the lead. White flag. Pinky Panther and Bumble threaten but never get by Cerulean. On the last lap down the backstretch, Cerulean executes the drop turn perfectly. Through the final turns, they have the run on Nerid. This is it. Cerulean is going to win this race. Through the U-turn, Cerulean rolls through it well and has a huge run. All they need to do now is make the pass, something they've done 100,000 times.
Here comes Cerulean, has caught the draft. On the straightaway, Nerid will win at the Mo Motorway.
Nerid defends Cerulean's move perfectly. A rookie making a race-winning block like a veteran. Cerulean once again finishes second. After this gut-wrenching defeat, Cerulean comes back to race at the Limelight Harbor, qualifying in 7th. But it doesn't take long for them to climb up the order. They move to 4th after lap 1 and are challenging Billy and Clementon for the lead by lap 9. But they just can't make the pass. With 1 lap to go, Cerulean's in 4th. Yet another chance is going to be lost. Cerulean had some opportunities, but some great defense by the top 2 thwarted any chance of a race win. Cerulean does get by Clementon for 3rd. Clementon tries to take the spot back, but pinches Cerulean into the wall, giving them a huge run. Ceru takes full advantage, going around the outside of Billy for 2nd. But the new leader Misty blocks Cerulean perfectly through the S's. Yet another instance of perfect defensive racing preventing Cerulean from winning. Tough break. Through the U-turn, Clementon tries to get by Ceru again, but misjudges it, giving Cerulean all of their momentum. Heading into the right-hand turn, Misty does something that the Hazers almost never do in Marbula 1. They made a mistake. Not expecting such a huge run from some marble behind them, they move to the outside to get more momentum down the final straightaway. This gives Cerulean an opening. One more chance.
To the inside, Cerulean with 2 turns to go. Surprises Misty and wins the race at Limelight Harbor.
4/100ths of a second. Cerulean has done it. Cerulean has won. Cerulean had another excellent running during the writing of this video, battling for the lead and finishing 3rd at the P-Mine Tunnel. This got the Kobalts into 4th overall, and something truly unbelievable happened in the individual standings. It is not over, not in the slightest. But regardless of how the team and individual standings shake out, Cerulean has shown that they still have it. Or as I like to say, they are that dude. The Kobalts are probably out of the title running this season, but they absolutely aren't in the long term. Royal's struggles this year have been well documented, but if Cerulean can bounce back from their struggles, Royal can too. Who knows if this duo will win a title together or not? But whether they do or not, no matter what the future holds for the longtime Kobalts Marbula 1 duo, they have established themselves as 2 of the best to ever roll on a Marbula 1 track. And that's incredible. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, they can even snap their Marble League qualifying drought while they're at it. Thank you for watching.